Oh, we've suffered enough.
In the pre-show, you said, "Do you have any props? Do you have any maracas?" I said, "Whimsy, I don't have maracas. Do you have a rose?" I said, "Well, I have a fake rose in my kitchen." Grab this.
Well, I mean, this is
Olé.
yes. I think that my job is to make you as uncomfortable as possible as often.
You succeeded today, that's for sure. We're only 1 minute into the show. No, I'm kidding, of course.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Amazing. How was your week?
Busy. I'm working on my own channel now. I'm shooting all these segments about old time Hollywood, doing your show, making phone calls for you, doing artwork. I'm busy. But it's good.
I think you wear many hats.
Oh,
I
right now
think you wear many hats. And so let's see, you're an actor,
a writer,
a writer, and a doctor's assistant. So you kind of
Hollywood historian.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And any chance you're going to write a book? There's been a couple people who've asked about that, and if you will include your art.
I hope so. Well, one of the problems with including my art is it's just so damned expensive, to print it, full color process and everything. But I'd love to do that. But as far as doing a book, oh yeah, I'm always receptive. Anything to do with old Hollywood. I didn't have much luck with my Lucille Ball book, and that was mostly because of politics with CBS and a few others. But I did get all the way to the senior editor of Random House. Came very, very close. And so
what happened to that book project?
Well, it means naming some names that I shouldn't name, but let's just say some certain relatives of Lucille Ball caused some trouble for me. And CBS, because they own the rights to the show. There were a lot of politics involved. And also, when you're doing nonfiction, it's very expensive. So the money people, if you want me to tell the story real quick, it got all the way to the senior editor of Random House, who loved my book. She took it to the quote unquote money people. Well, it was like $20,000 for the rights to the photographs. That'd be 15% to CBS, 10% to the family. And then you would, because it's nonfiction, you'd have to have lawyers comb through it for libel. I would have ended up owing money. So that's why the book didn't get published.
No.
Well, I'm recycling it. I'm using it for all my segments now for my own show. I have lots of Lucy stories.
Yeah, well, see there, you found a purpose for it.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Hopefully everybody over there is doing well as well.
Yeah.
What are people saying today? What are they drinking? Share with us.
Let me see. We got, I'm trying to read this here. I hope I'm saying this right. Misha from saying hi from Colorado. Hello, beautiful people. Hello, Dr. Whimsy, Mr. Chuck, and everyone. Yeah. Hello back. Whimsy, as your assistant, I, of course, make phone calls every day to people on your roster.
You do.
And now, not a day that goes by that I do not get somebody going, "You're Chuck. I know who you are. I watch you on Tuesday." And so I'm having lovely conversations with people out there. And you're not just names scrolling by now. I actually have talked with a number of you now. And, I'm just so grateful for all the sweet words and the encouragement. And they have love for you and for me. And I make sure that we send our love right back to them. And I'm sending it right
Absolutely. And for those of you who are at home, if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, be sure and like and subscribe. Of course, our floor director, we want to give a shout out to him. Make sure to always give power to the great and powerful Joel Tilson. Deborah Brady is somewhere around here as well.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Um, I'm going to open up the second stream so I can see all the messages. And I think we have a couple of announcements. Then we can go ahead and do the empath's prayer. I also wanted to give a shout out. Whoops, there it is. I got to mute that. I also wanted to give a shout out to. Whoops, there it is. Did I mute that? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say I can read the scrolling now because I see it on my iPad here. You made a great suggestion that I can show on my iPad too, because sometimes it's hard to see on the side of the laptop here. So for my middle-aged eyes, I can read this better.
Yeah, so it looks like Joel Tilson is related to Jack Lemmon. Isn't that cool?
I didn't know that. That's incredible. And we have a theme going today with Some Like It Hot, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Well, what are you thinking of our latest book? We should talk to people about that.
Yes, our latest book. I just got my copy the other day. I haven't had a chance to start on it yet, but I know how enthusiastic you are about it.
Yes, the book for the month is dun, 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 Cutted Chicken in Shanghai.
Yeah.
Do you know? Sorry, I'm having an allergic reaction to something.
Oh, it's okay.
Actually, I think part of what's going on is my violin dust, but that's a whole other.
Really? Violin dust?
Yeah, I'm allergic to the violin.
Oh, no.
That's true.
That's like your soulmate right now. It's your first love.
Yeah, but what happens is that they use pollen resin, which I'm allergic to. And when I brush, I sit here and I play the violin. And it creates a dust. And then I get it on my fingers and hands. And so I had to switch to a hypoallergenic violin. So I'm using the olive now because of my allergy to pine resin. And but it's really very frustrating because I'm always seem to be allergic to something. But yeah. So no, I just
like an alternative to that you could use
olive resin.
Olive resin. Good.
Yes, I'm using the olive now, which is not. It doesn't have the same. This is like really making me cough because it gets little fabric in your lungs. But but this one has a really nice grip. I took a bunch of allergy medicine, so it should get better.
Wonderful. I was going to ask you, how are your lessons going?
Oh, going really good. I was going to say on the 28th, excuse me, our book club party is on the 28th.
On the 28th. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the day when you play your violin on the show.
Well, I did do a little rendition. What
day did you do it? Because you do 4 shows.
I taped a rendition of, so long ago, I think it was. Excuse me, this will pass. But I did a rendition of long ago on the violin. It was really nice.
Oh, that's great. I just love how much joy this is giving you. You know, when you visited me, was it 3 months ago? No, I'm losing track. But when in the hotel room, when I saw you, you just looked so peaceful and centered when you were with your violin. It was so beautiful. I took a picture of you.
Yeah, it's really my therapy. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just happy.
All right.
So much. It's beautiful.
Let's go ahead. Rosin, thank you. Yes, the rosin. The rosin creates fine dust particles, and it's made from it's like little pieces almost of glass.
Oh, that's terrible.
And it floats in the air, and it's a major allergy for violinists. It's actually a major problem. Many people have this.
I can imagine.
If you Google violin rosin allergy, because what happens, and not only that, but you put your face in, and then you have rubbed all this resin, and then your face is right there, and then it comes off the bow, and then so much resin falls, it leaves a pile of dust under, and then you have to wipe it away. So,
yeah, but I imagine like on your neck and your hair. where that would be a continuing problem.
Right. Well, there are some violinists who I've seen who wear who wear a mask because they're sensitive.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I've started to notice it more and more. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to pay attention to that. I've just seen violinists take like a handkerchief or something and put it
Yeah. Yeah.
in and back. And
We do
I,
that because sometimes it presses and pokes. And
yeah,
the reason is that you can also lay it over that area and it keeps the area clean. And it also, if you have like falling rosin and stuff.
yeah.
So,
So when do you play Carnegie Hall?
never. Are we ready to do the empath's prayer? I think we're ready. We've been here for about 11 minutes. I think we're ready.
You're 11 minutes already. Gee.
I've taken my second Benadryl, so hopefully we're
Well, you're going to be all
good.
hyped up and ready to go. Or
To allergies. Oh my
doesn't it?
God. I wish this on no one. It's really
Oh,
a
no.
nightmare. Yeah, but at least
Right,
you can
right.
take something. All right, let's come together, everybody. Let's do the empath's prayer, and then after that, we will talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk
Oh,
about,
God,
right?
we do.
We
We
do.
still got some like it hot, you know?
I know we're going to do all that, but let's do the empath's prayer, and then we're going to talk about the theme. All right, sound good?
Right. Let's do it.
Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen.
Amen. Beautiful.
Yeah. So today's theme was some like it hot. You know, I wanted to do that scene with you for a while, and I don't know why. I think it's because you had so many amazing stories, and I know that you've done so many Marilyns. Actually, I've never seen this Marilyn Monroe.
Well, I had to dig for a Marilyn I haven't shown before. So,
Well, you've done a few, but tell us about this one.
this one, this is one I've never shown before. This is something I did a few years ago just for fun. Marilyn Monroe, I'm a great admirer of this lady. And I've said before on the show, I think she was an underrated talent. I think she was extremely talented dramatic actress, heartfelt, a gifted comedian, beautiful singing voice, incredible presence. I love her. And even when I've channeled her, I mentioned this once on your show that I never get victim energy from Marilyn. I get, if anything, I get a sense of street smarts, someone who really knew her way around. And to me, that makes sense because you don't get that far in Hollywood, rise that far to the top if you're not tough and you don't know how the system works. So that's my own feeling. But anyway, that's my artwork. I'll just hold that up for a moment. It's watercolor, colored pencil. And
Yeah, I was going to just say, so Hollywood and history, they kind of depict her as this neurotic, fragile, mentally ill person, but you don't
exactly.
see it that way when you connect with
I
her.
don't get that vibe when I communicate with her. Now, I don't know if because we have a lot of intuitives in our audience, I don't know if other people have had that experience with Marilyn. You know, I'm just telling honestly what I get. I get somebody, a tough cookie. You know, I mean, very sweet, wonderful, always helpful, but a lot tougher than her image. I think that image of her being the neurotic, vulnerable, tragic mess. I don't think quite so much. I mean, she was a complex woman. She was a Gemini. So she, there were a lot of polarities going on, but
Right.
that's what I get from her. I love her. But you had me pull this up because you said we were going to do Some Like It Hot today. You sent me that clip.
Yes.
Well,
And I love the film. You know, I've probably seen the film a dozen times.
oh my God, I love it. Have you ever been to the Hotel Del Coronado in San Diego where
No,
they filmed a lot of that?
no.
Oh, you should. Wonderful experience. I spent my 40th birthday there, had dinner there, but it's a lot of fun because you can actually go on that beach and find the spots where they filmed, like where Marilyn was in her deck chair.
Wow. Oh, that sounds nice.
So rich in history. But I just, I knew some stuff about the movie, but I looked some quick stuff up about it because I knew we were going to talk about it. I knew it was a hit. I did not know what a blockbuster that film was. It was like the biggest money-making film in 1959. This may not sound like a lot, $49 million, but that was 1959 dollars. I went on the internet and looked it up. Today, that would be $150 million in today's dollars. So that's a huge hit. You
Right,
know,
right.
comedy.
Wow.
And Marilyn got very lucky. I found out she had it in her contract that she would get 10% of the gross.
Well, that's an unusual contract, isn't it?
Unusual contract, but you got to remember, she was the biggest female box office draw in Hollywood, so she had a lot of clout.
So she was like the Angelina Jolie of her time.
Well, I think she was bigger than that even. I mean, Marilyn was a superstar. I mean, not that Angelina isn't, but Marilyn was just huge. So she had the clout to get a contract like that. So that movie alone made her a very wealthy woman. Very wealthy. I mean, it's the money still goes into her estate. And you were asking me earlier what happened to Marilyn's money. Well, it's actually a beautiful story. Marilyn, in her will, left everything to her drama coach, Lee Strasberg.
Who also legally adopted her, I understand. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think I heard that. But anyway, many years later, when Lee Strasberg married again, and when he died, the woman, his widow, had no connection to Marilyn Monroe, but she, in turn, got the rights to the Marilyn Monroe estate and the money, and she donated it all to an orphanage in London. So children in London, orphans, benefit from Marilyn Monroe to this day.
That's lovely. What a lovely thing to do.
Marilyn would have loved that. I think it's so beautiful. And I think that's why she did that, because she didn't feel like she was entitled to that money, that it needed to go where it was supposed to go. And that's how she chose the orphanage. So it's a beautiful story about Marilyn. But yeah, I can keep talking about it. I don't know if you want me to shut up or.
No, I think it's beautiful. Yeah, I know that I got to meet Jack Lemmon. I went to see a fundraiser for the Seagull that they were planned on performing in London.
Oh my gosh,
Jack Lemmon came to the fundraiser, and I got to ask him questions at a Q&A. And he talked about her having horrible stage fright, and that there were days when she would literally hide in her room and not come out because she was crippled in fear.
Yeah. Well, and also because her insecurity and stage fright was so intense. And I think it was because she had reached a point in her career where so much was being expected of her. And so she was terrified. That's enormous pressure. Billy Wilder said she had this simple line, "Where's my ukulele?" Remember, she was going in and going to the door, "Where's my ukulele?" They had to do 80 takes because she kept flubbing that one simple line. And Billy Wilder, everybody said it was just maddening making the movie. And Tony Curtis, he said, like that big kissing scene they did on the yacht, they do something like 23 takes to get it right. And by that point, Tony Curtis was exhausted. But Billy Wilder had to use the best take with Marilyn because he knew Marilyn was who the audience was going to be watching. And they were in the screening room watching the take, and someone said, "Well, you look like you were enjoying yourself." And he said, "No, it was like kissing Hitler." But he was kidding. He clarified later he was making a joke, but that got taken out of context. He didn't mean that to be vicious toward Marilyn. But that happened.
Yeah, it was such a vicious. I mean, like, I never forgot that statement he had made. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, he clarified.
It didn't go along at all. Oh my God.
I know. But you know what was interesting? Billy Wilder at the time said, "You know what? I'm too rich and I'm too established to ever work with that woman again." But then he clarified it and said, "You know what? She was late all the time to the set. She caused all this trouble. But my Aunt Minnie is punctual as can be, and nobody wants to see her. They want to see Marilyn." And then I saw a really good interview with Billy Wilder near his death, because he lived to be 95. And someone brought all that up. Did you say this about Marilyn? And Billy Wilder said, "You know what? If I had it to do all over again, I would get down on my knees. and I would beg Marilyn to work with me again. I would beg to work with her. He said, yes, she was a pain in the butt, but look at that film. Look at the magic we created. He said, oh my God, I'd work with her again in a heartbeat if she were still around.
You
So
know, she's one of those people that probably had complex PTSD, because I recognize it in her. And she's somebody who, if she were on something like an SSRI or an SNRI, if she were properly medicated or given proper treatment, and EMDR, etc.,
well, that didn't exist.
she wouldn't have to have suffered like that. But
So
clearly, you know, the social anxiety, etc. I mean, in today's world, she could have really received a lot of help. And it's just unfortunate.
But I think any of us, if we were put in Marilyn's shoes, you know, with millions of people affecting all these, you know, it would be.
I'm just
Anyway,
up for the next segment. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, if any of us were in that position where we had millions of people watching us under a microscope, I think most of us would have anxiety like that. So I think it's amazing she handled it as well as she did. But anyway, we need to move on.
I let you go, and then I have to settle that we have to stay on track. So I just push things along. But all right. So this in the news, and of course, anybody wants us to blitz, we can look at questions. If Joel has questions for us, the floor director, if there's something we're missing, looks like, Layman, very nice, Layman. It's a very nice name. I don't know if everybody has heard, but it looks like the House has an agreement.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Didn't we say this last week that we were going to see something? Didn't you? What did you say in the Pendulum? We talked about this.
Well, I'm trying to remember now. Did I say yes? I can't remember, honestly.
You did. You said that you saw no government shutdown.
Yeah, because they do this over and over. You know, I said to you before the show, it feels like we're getting gaslighted. You know, it's like they play this mind F word on us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, holding it over our heads. Oh, the government's going to shut down. You won't get your Social Security. You won't get mail, blah, blah, blah. And then they swoop in at the very last minute. We've seen this too many times now. That's just my own take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there.
So it looks like, according to Joel, it passed until February 2nd, 2024.
Okay. Did it go through the Senate?
Not yet. Do you want to go ahead and check and see the future of this bill? Let's go ahead. Yes, no. We're going to blitz on the bill.
Okay.
If you haven't had a chance to like yet or subscribe, it would be awesome.
Okay. Will the Senate pass the bill? Okay, I'm getting an easy yes on that. What do you get?
I'm getting a yes too. Do you see us being able? Okay. Why do I feel manipulated? What did you say about manipulation?
Well, I said I feel like we're being gaslighted. You know, it's like a mind game they keep playing on us, psychological game. There's a vulgar term for it, F blank blank. You know, but mind F. But it's just they do this too many times.
Right.
Over and over, and they try to scare us. It's like a psychological game or something. I don't know.
What do you think the benefit is for the House, which is GOP governed, to be playing this game?
Well, it just seems like you know about borderline personality disorder, where this is typical of that kind of behavior, where they want to just keep throwing curveballs at you to keep you in a state of confusion and vulnerability. It's like beating a person down into submission. Am I saying that right? That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I feel like, they're controlling the narrative until the next election.
Yes, I think so, most definitely. You know, and they're obviously trying to put blame on somebody, and I'm sure they're hoping it's the Democrats and Biden, but I think the Republicans are just looking like consummate asses over and over. I just don't know if the public sees it that way.
I think we have to be sick of them. The Fox. The bill.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got the Fox presenting the bill that leaves people in the maze.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you just said. They're in a maze.
Yeah.
The whip, whipping them into shape. Crack that whip, right?
Yeah.
The stork delivers the bill. There has to be an incentive on them to cooperate with the with the Democrats.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I know too many people depend on things like their Social Security, government programs, and to just have this dangling over your head every 45 days. Will it happen? Will it won't happen?
Okay, so we have this question, excuse me, from Missy Bonds. Will they be able to rescue anyone from Alrontases? I think you mean
Children's Hospital in Gonza.
I don't think that's not. It's actually the Shifa Hospital. We're in the Shifa Hospital. IDF Israel has entered the Shifa Hospital. A couple of weeks ago, I was asked to do a remote if I could locate the hostages. As I mentioned in the remote, the hostages were located in a compartment below the emergency triage unit of the Shifa Hospital. So, what the IDF has done is they've demolished all exit points, and then they've used foam. It's like this foam to seal up all exit. So the hostages are below Shifa. They think at least 120 remain alive. And they were in heavy negotiation with Qatar when negotiations fell apart. And Israeli special ops, basically Navy SEALs, are in now. They've gone down into the basement, last I heard. They've evacuated the civilians, and they are threatening to blow the top of Al-Shifa off. There's no negotiation as far as the IDF's concerned. It's unilateral surrender of Hamas and return the hostages, or the fighting continues. It's quite intense right now, so we really have to pray. So let's go ahead and see if the hostages will be rescued. We'll go ahead and do that next.
Okay.
And this is just for entertainment purposes, so don't take it seriously.
Okay. But do. Whimsy, I'm getting a yes.
I'm getting a yes too.
Yeah. See, it's going.
Hostages will be rescued. I can't tell you how many are still alive. We don't discuss. It's our policy not to do that here. Some will be freed. Would you all like to see the cards?
Yes, I would.
The cage door has been unlocked.
Wow.
That which was inside will be delivered. The storks.
Mm-hmm.
It is a gift. They will be taken back to their homes.
Okay.
We battle a great seducer. A seducer has fallen upon the land. A seducer has fallen upon the land like an opium or a drug. Remember, Hamas is on drugs. They're drug addicts. They've been given drugs, and they believe that these young men, some of whom have been captured and are cooperating, according to IDF, they're drug addicts. And so, unfortunately, the problem we have with those Hamas that have been captured is they are drug addicts.
Good. It's scary.
The seducer, the opium seducer, often the drugs. Something seduced them into the cult. They had no job. They were overcrowded. They had no hope. To be born in Gaza is to die in Gaza, right? They were given drugs. They were seduced.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I sent a proposal to the IDF, and I just want everyone to pray that the IDF can make this dream happen. And what I'm asking the IDF to consider doing is that once we have stabilized the area, if they will consider opening up an oasis or safe zone in some of these areas like Sidelot for the workers, and we can build emergency settlements for the people of Gaza to alleviate the pressure of the overcrowding, and they can get back to work, many of them working on kibbutzes. And so it'd be a great way for us to rebuild the places that have been victims of terror, and also open up Gaza and allow the people to come into an oasis area where they've already passed security. We know these are good people, and get them back to work and get them a decent life again. And so I wrote the letter to the IDF saying, can we create an oasis? Can we do this? Because this is our tradition. If you look at the history of the Torah, that both the people of Moses, Abraham and Abraham, we all share one thing in common. We're all Bedouin. And you look at the first like Abraham in the Bible, what do we all share in common? We all respect the oasis. Abraham had a tent that had an opening of 4 doors, and he welcomed all peoples to his home, and he fed them. And so we can do the same thing in Sderot. And so I'm leaving. I'm headed to Israel. I want to make a public announcement. So I'll be leaving December 25th, and I will be arriving in Tel Aviv on December 26th, and I'll be there for close to 3 weeks volunteering to pick tomatoes and share in the rebuild. So I just believe good people can come together. We can integrate, we can heal, and we can create safe spaces for one another. And it's terrible what's happening, and this whole thing is very scary, but I truly believe people are good. And I think that the people of Gaza and Israel are mostly good, and I think we will find a way, and we are going to find it. We are going to create an oasis, and we're going to help heal people on both sides.
Yeah. There's great power in what you're doing and the example you're setting, and like-minded people gather together. I really respect what you're going to do. And
have some hummus, right?
I pray for your safety while you're there.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, Elizabeth, are you in Safat? I would love to. Yes, email me or text me at my phone number. Any of my mishpacha or hevra over in Israel you want to get together, send me an email, whimsyanderson@gmail.com. I love Safat. Have been there many, many times. Elizabeth, if you're there, absolutely, we can get together. Maybe we can make Shabbos together. So that would be great.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah, I'm optimistic. It's like the best of times, it's the worst of times. It's the worst of times, it's the best of times. Because when these kinds of bad things happen, it reminds us of our own humanity, and that we have a choice, and we can come together and be a source of change or continue to whine. I choose to be a source of change.
Yes, that's one of the things I admire about you. Well, I know we've got everybody out here.
But I'm going to be away from you for 3 weeks in Taco Tuesday, so we're on break. What are you going to do?
We will be on break.
Well, I planned on only doing 26 episodes, and so we'll finish up the 26 episodes.
Okay.
And then you're going to do your 3-week break, and then we'll come back. I think we're coming back mid-January, and we'll do another season.
Boy, you're going to have some stories to tell.
I'm excited.
I'm just going to have to stay quiet and let you talk, because it's a lot more worthwhile than me talking about Some Like It Hot or something.
Oh, no, I think it's awesome. Okay, so let's keep talking about some of what is going on in the world. Now, as many of you know, people are very, very worried about the ongoing issues that are happening between the United States and China. The fentanyl crisis being front and center. Many people are also aware of the fact that we've been continually, the U.S., raising interest rates. Of course, that is because we're trying to break China's hold on the U.S. market. Now it looks like yet again, Biden is back in talks with Xi over the U.S.-China communications. The fact that, rightly so, we're concerned about the fact that U.S. companies are invested in China. I don't know how you feel about this. The fact that they could be potentially, we're funding their military. You want to talk about it?
Oh, my God. I don't have the expertise to talk about this, but the thought of us funding their military, don't know how I feel. What can we say? What can you say about that?
Well, I think we don't have to be diplomatic experts to want to know
Mhm.
if how can anyone fight with Biden?
I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. I think he's been a phenomenal president. I just don't understand why he's so unpopular. Other than, I was talking with a friend the other day, look what he inherited. He inherited the chaos of Donald Trump's administration and also the pandemic. He came in the heels of all of that. I think it's a miracle he's gotten what he's done accomplished. But of course, he's being given the brunt of that, all the blame, apparently. It's just mind.
So, well, clearly there's tension. Sharon Friedman adding to this conversation. Thank you. The thought of funding China's military, I choose again, I choose God and pray for a redirection, designing care and compassion in action. So thank you. Good point, Sharon. So there's the whole issue, right? Is that our money is not going to strengthen Americans, strengthen unions, make us a stronger union. It's making us weaker, and consequently, we are no longer unified as a nation. It's dog eat dog, everyone out for themselves. And they say that this has led to a deterioration of unity amongst Americans. I mean, that's wild. Think about it. If we were getting stronger and stronger, union made, union made. We're proud. We're American. We're
No,
producing something that's making America strong. And versus, hey man, I got to pay my rent and I'm getting paid. None of us have union. I mean, it completely changed our perceptions of ourselves, our importance, our country,
yeah.
loyalty to the nation. I don't know. What do you think?
Uh, it's all about psychology. Getting people psyched up. No matter how big, how dramatic it is, play it up. Play it up.
Uh, well, let's go ahead and see how the talks are going to go between China and Biden, if it's going to get resolved, if we're going to start to see stabilization of relationship. I hope so.
I hope so too. We have to.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how should we phrase that question, Whimsy? For me.
Yes, they will resolve it. No, they won't.
Okay.
You can also use your Oracle cards. You don't use, why aren't you using them?
I'm going to ask. Okay, I'm getting yes on a resolution. I've never tried the Oracle cards before for this, so
Yeah.
pull something up. I've never done this.
Yeah, but just pull one maybe.
Yeah, let me.
God, that dust.
Whimsy. New beginnings.
Yes, I got the same thing.
New beginnings. You got the same thing?
Yeah, I'll show it to you, but go ahead.
Yeah, these things are good.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so it's a new beginning. So yeah, I got the
Yeah.
I'll show it to you. Right now, clouds. Every time I see this, people think, oh, I think one time I showed it to you. You were like, clouds in my coffee. Clouds in my coffee present a new contract. We got to negotiate the contract. Right now, the situation is cloudy.
Yeah. But
Contract.
nonetheless,
Here's the new contract. And here it is. New beginning, an engagement.
well, I mean, even the illustration on the card, new beginnings, coming through the doorway, the stars, you see the light coming through the door. So I see this as very optimistic.
Yeah, look, an engagement, which is the new beginning.
Yeah.
Here's the groom's card. And then good stars. You know what's interesting? So yeah, I got the same thing you did. But you know what's interesting? I think she is leaving. Why would they bring a new man in to negotiate a new contract in these cards? I'm thinking, yay, we got a new contract with China. We got a new beginning with this guy. It's good stars. But then I'm left with, is this she or somebody else? Who is this guy?
That's a good question.
So I wonder if, look, she centralized power a lot in China, and it makes me wonder, did he do it to the point, did he neutralize it to the point, did he take away power, did he centralize the power to such an extent that people can't even remove him?
That's a good question.
You know, but it looks to me like, yeah, Joel Tilson says American workers are fed up with low wages and no benefits. That's absolutely true. Elizabeth M., when there's corruption within it, become very hard to gather up trust and go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Tilson says she is another Mao. Unfortunately, I don't. It's going to be hard to get rid of she. What are you getting?
Okay. Okay, I'm getting a no.
Yeah, that he's not leaving.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting a no.
Like, yeah,
it's pretty strong too.
Yeah. Let me show it to you. Anchor. The anchor. Yeah, he has set his anchor, so it's pretty hard. Yeah, so it's hard. The thing is, though, he is an agent of chaos, just like Putin, because you see the fun house. So he's anchored, then comes the fun house, then comes an offer, a new contract, same thing. So, but he's an agent of chaos. TikTok. Now there are several countries that are like, I think, what is it, Singapore? And what is it, Manila, and a few. They're shutting down TikTok because they say it is for the good of. It's creating too much discord in the nation. It is an agent of discord, and so I think I agree.
Yeah, well, certainly collect data.
Well, look at how easily people were manipulated into believing that Hamas were some nice, misunderstood people. I mean, and then when the film footage got released, they brainwashed the kids on TikTok, believing, "Oh no, it's just, it's fake. It's fake. It's not real. I mean, the power that TikTok has to take over people's minds and control and to turn what you think of as relatively normal people into some people whether it's what's going on with the power that Hamas has gotten through TikTok. This is the most powerful Hamas has ever become through TikTok.
Oh my God. I mean, I've just seen people myself just almost hypnotized by their phones watching TikTok.
Yeah, I think it's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it's
the whole TikTok phenomenon.
It's like a gateway. It starts off with cute little cat videos and stuff, but all these people, it's allowing somebody to tap into your information, into your files on your computer. Undoubtedly, we don't know how far it's going.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. Why don't we go ahead and check that? Because is Biden going to finally, I don't agree with Josh Hawley on much stuff, but it's okay to agree with Josh Hawley on this one issue, because on this one issue, Josh Hawley is right. This is a national security issue. TikTok.
Well, I remember Donald Trump, at the end of his administration, he wanted to abolish TikTok. And at first I thought, Donald Trump's overreacting. But, maybe one of the few things possibly I would agree with.
Possibly. Yeah, I think this is something where Democrats and conservatives across the aisle can agree that this is really, it is an agent of the Chinese army. The Chinese military government basically owns TikTok, and TikTok exists to promote the interest of China. So why would we want that? Why would we allow our young? It's not freedom. It's indoctrination.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's like I see people who are hypnotized, like almost literally hypnotized when they're looking at their phones.
Well, let's
watch television now.
Well, let's throw on it. Let's go ahead and see if Biden is going to ban TikTok, if we're going to get a ban on TikTok. I wish we did sooner rather than later, to be honest.
Is Biden going to ban TikTok? I'm getting a no.
Shit.
What are you getting, Whimsy?
Let me find out. I haven't.
I mean, this could be just for now. It doesn't, maybe in the future different, but I'm just going to see, I'm getting kind of a strong no.
I think, again, you're right, because at this time, it's a roll of the dice. I mean, what happens is that you have somebody like Biden saying, go and do research on TikTok and come back and tell us what they're saying, what the end result is, how is it affecting young people? And the results so far are it's a roll of the dice. Sometimes it affects people, sometimes it doesn't. And so for that reason, I think Biden is wary to get involved. It's the roll of the dice. You know, it's too early on for them to make a definitive determination about how much it's affecting. But look, the snake is there.
Yeah.
Dark clouds. I don't like that, man. Two of Pentacle, snake in the grass, dark clouds, smoother waters, a sailing coming, and then a new contract with China. There it is again. I'm telling you, Biden's going to get a new contract with China, and we're going to see a lot of things change. They're going to shut down fentanyl, and they're going to clean this crazy up because of this.
Yeah.
I think these talks with Xi are very important.
Yeah. I was getting an intuitive hit because an election year is coming up. Biden, because TikTok is so beloved right now, it would be immensely unpopular right now for Biden to do that. And he doesn't want to take chances like that in an election year, maybe after the election. I don't know how you feel.
Well, I mean, see, I feel exactly the opposite. I feel like I want to thanks. I'm going to put one of these up for Joel as well. I mean, I feel like I want this to be gone before the next election because
I just know if Biden would do it.
Here's what, if Biden gets along with Xi, is Biden basically saying, why get rid of TikTok? I'll just get along with Xi, and then Xi will help me re-win election with TikTok. Is that I mean, see, the dark side of me thinks like that. Well, man, I could be friends with this guy, then I'm basically he's going to use TikTok to get me in, right?
Yeah. Well, we shall see. But I mean, TikTok has just become like an institution right now. People love it. It's a way of life. And you take that away, that is not going to be a popular move with the American people.
Right.
That's why I was thinking in election year, it may not be such a good idea.
Right. Okay, so Joel Tilson is talking about the American workers. Okay, American workers are fed up. I agree with low wages, no benefits, and the fact that the unions are busted. Now, I was reading an article recently about the fact that a new form, not a new form, an old form of Christianity is coming back again. And it's really the Christianity of John Steinbeck and Theodore Dreiser. It's the Christian socialist. It's, oh, you can't scare me. I'm sticking to the unions. I'm sticking to
the old-time revivals.
Yes, where the union and the church and this idea that Jesus was a socialist, that he fed the poor. And there has been a movement in the Christian community towards not just conservative, going with the Republican Party, but also instead of focusing on acts to help the needy and the poor, it's been exclusively focused on abortion issues.
And we've seen where that's gone. This last election, clearly we know how the public feels, the majority.
Yes. I mean, we saw what happened out of Ohio, but also I think a lot of Christians, wouldn't you agree, feel hijacked because that's not the number one issue for them as Christians. And as people who follow Jesus, the number one issue for them is to walk a Christ-like, to emulate his life and to be Christ-like and to live with your heart open, no matter how many times it breaks. Wow. Isn't that to be like Christ? He cried until blood came out of his skin, right? That's how much he cared about humanity. And instead, for them, it seems like Christianity is just about trying to control women's uteruses. And I just don't know. What does that have to do with the New Testament? Nothing. Or how Jesus lived his path of don't get too focused on, I think what his life was about, as I understand it, was through acts of kindness, isn't it? That someone, the tree by, the fruit, the tree by its fruits. And so you look at people's acts of kindness and how they care for the least amongst you. So when you look at this socialist movement that's coming up within the Christian movement, it seems to me, just as I mean, I'm Jewish, I'm just an observer, but it seems
Yeah.
to me that they're more aligned with the teachings of Jesus than, say, other sects of Christianity. I don't know what you think.
Well, I mean, that's certainly how it feels to me. I agree. It's I mean, we have to be careful what we say about religion and Christianity. We don't want to offend people, but I just personally feel that a lot of Christianity, as we see it today, has just moved so far away from what it was originally ever intended to be. Sometimes I just wonder if Jesus were to look at this and just go, the way it's been.
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, yeah, it's very. I think it's just very also about raising money. We've also talked about using the church to get how during COVID, church donations were down,
Yeah,
and how Republicans were personally concerned about that because those church donations were going to lobbying groups that
yeah,
were then
yeah,
manipulating people to vote for conservatives,
exactly, exactly.
which drives me crazy. I mean,
Drives me crazy too. I just don't want
yes,
to going.
right. So you had people like Lindsey Graham saying, you got to go to church, you got to go to church, because they saw that the money that they wanted their money that was going to go to their lobbying organizations to push their conservative agenda. And
Yeah,
again, what does this have to do with spirituality? I don't
nothing,
know.
nothing, nothing. It's disgusting to me personally. Personally, it turns me off. It's uh I mean, I'm being careful in my language because I don't want to offend anybody about their faith, but I'm appalled by what I see personally. I'll say that much.
All right, so I guess the next question then is, will the unions come back to America? Will we be union strong? Will we go back to producing things here in the United States, or are we at forever China bound, or some other foreign country? So I guess the real issue is, are we going to see a growth of unions again in the U.S.?
Yes, that.
No. And also, if you can pick one oracle card,
Okay, we're going to see the onions again. Okay, on that, I'm getting a strong maybe, perhaps because that's a complex question. It's like a multi-tiered question almost. So I'm getting kind of a maybe on that as opposed to a yes or a no. But let me see if I can get a card here. Okay. Now this is interesting. I got the discipline card.
Mhm.
Discipline card. Does that make sense? Like that's what it's going to take. Just getting back to basics. Taking this, figuring strategies here, discipline, hard work. It's not going to be like an easy thing to come back. It's going to require discipline. That's what I'm getting from that. Now, what are you getting?
I get something very similar in the sense that there are more opportunities for homegrown jobs and for people to do their own private practices, like me doing private practice as a doctor, as a reader, etc. It's my own little income source. It looks to me like the focus is more the little hobby home is like the little hobby business, in the sense that there's a lot of funding by the government for small businesses going forward, the little hobby home. However,
Yeah.
there's a real problem here with companies that are becoming too big to fail. The seducer comes, and with the hammer and sickle could indicate that large companies we begin to see layoffs starting, and that's true. However, I think when we're looking at like salvation cards, the man who comes, the tree of life, which could also be a card that has aspects of like the 10 of cups is what I think about with the tree of life. It's when all your needs are fulfilled. It also has like an environmental aspect to it. So yeah, it's not so much that we get unions so much as we get the great life. We get the good life. I mean, that's how I would interpret this. My
Mhm.
concern is we still have a problem with these trillionaires and billionaire kind of energy, in the sense that we still have the seducers. And I think we have some layoffs, unfortunately, coming up with the sickle coming in for possibly by the end of the year, we'll see more layoffs, and that's a little scary, but
That'd be scary.
it does look like that could happen. I think, people can lean on starting their own side hustles and whatnot just to protect themselves is not a bad idea. And I do have a really good feeling about the relationship between Xi and Biden, which started off fairly good and then it collapsed. And so I feel that there's a possibility that they can create a sense of normalcy. Yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah.
Well, do we have time for one more before we close?
Well, let's see. We got what time is it? We got about 3 minutes or so here, 3 or 4 minutes. I guess we do.
Now we've got time. We can do a weirdo question. We can either talk about remote viewing in the military, or we can look at the latest presentation on the aliens coming back. They're back in Mexico. They've done some CT scans. Have you heard about this?
I haven't heard about this. You mentioned it before the show. So
Yes.
Enlighten me, Whimsy. Tell me about it.
Darling, we've got
Tell
to.
us all about it, dear.
What did you say?
I said, tell us all about it.
Okay, let me see if I can.
No.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. I got to give you guys.
Yeah.
Do. I think that they find this interesting, right?
I think so. So give me oh, good. I got my laptop.
Y el Ministerio Público, entre otros. A pesar de estos obstáculos, logramos usos proporcionados por los propios investigadores y estudios metalúrgicos con el apoyo de la Universidad Nacional de Ingeniería.
What's weird is that it seems to be real, like the CT is showing it is, and
no son concluyentes.
doesn't appear to be an
Durante el
artwork.
periodo de custodia y conservación de los cuerpos desecados,
indicando la zona lateral del arco anterior de las costillas.
Look at the eggs.
Ahí las flechas verdes.
It's a reptile.
Wow.
La otra. Bien. Suficiente. Ahora quiero mostrarle la parte
The
tomográfica.
CT results are pretty. It would be close to impossible for this not to be a real skeleton. They have no explanation for how an artist would have been able to have created it.
los cuerpos desecados tridáctilos con características tanto humanas como reptilianas que han sido conocidos en los medios.
Igualmente.
Have they done DNA analysis or anything along those lines?
Yes, the DNA is showing that it is something like 30%. Look, we think it's over. The split happened. If it's what we think it is, the split happened over 200 million years ago. It's a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur that did not go extinct.
Yeah, well, the fact that the reptilian aspect.
Right. The 3 fingers, we had talked about that.
We talked about that for dinosaurs. And of course, birds are considered the closest, I believe, the closest descendant to the dinosaurs.
That's right. And we see the same claws, similar claws. But
yes.
This split happened even before that.
Elongated neck.
Because I don't think they may have a small, just because researchers focused on the digits to determine the timeline, and the DNA split, it's looking like over 200 million. Yeah.
Incredible.
But look at how evolved this reptilian life form is. Did it go extinct? That's the other question. That,
or they're hidden away, like you've theorized before with other sects that have broken off. Yeah. I've learned a lot about this just from you, just from sitting here on the show. I'm learning alongside everyone else. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah. Well, did you have fun today?
Oh, I always have fun. I love doing this. And I broke off and I'm doing my own thing on Wednesdays now, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
All the technical aspects work. It's only been 3 shows so far. 2 of those shows were a few minutes late because of technical problems with Restream and everything. But I'm just doing 30 minutes, just testing the waters right now. But I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Well, tell us a little bit about the show. Maybe we'll check it out.
What I'm doing is focusing more on my love of entertainment, old Hollywood, Lucy. So I usually feature a little something about the latest industry news, such as the SAG-AFTRA strike, which thankfully has ended. It's up for vote right now at the SAG members, but I'm sure it'll pass and people will be back to work. And then I try to include some old Hollywood, a little taste of that today with So Like It Hot. And because it's proven so popular, and because I have all this stuff up in my head, I always tell a big Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, I Love Lucy story. And then if there's time willing and I get some questions, I do some oracle card readings. Kind of like you, only I'm using the oracle cards. I'm not proficient enough with tarot. So it's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. East Coast. Chuck's captivating chat.
Awesome. So if anyone's trying to get in for a reading with me, you can check my information below. Also, check out our fan pages. I think Chuck, Captivating Chronicles, you have a fan page now as well, as do I, both of which are overseen by the great and powerful Debbie Brady. Again, special shout out to Joel Tilson, our floor director, and everybody else that helped out with the show today. Last but not to be least, please check out all the merch that's available here at the channel. We do sell merch, and of course, it's another great way of supporting our childish streams and fun ways. Yes. All right, we're out of here. Be kind to all so that all can be kind to you too. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everybody, so much.
Bye.
Thank you.